Welcome to my podcast. I'm the Laughing Philosopher. Life is complicated. You are complicated. Everything seems to have been figured out, except how to live a happy life, guided by wisdom and reason. What does it mean to be a good person? What is love? Who am I before I was told who I am? Why haven't I found myself yet? Why do I have regrets? Is this a just world? Almost from the moment of birth, we've been told how to behave, how to fit in, and how to fulfill other people's expectations. We grow to fear that we will lack importance or cease to exist in the lives of others if we think for ourselves and question the rules and roles that we've been told define us. Only when wisdom and reason removes this illusion can we live authentically in the world around us and become our real selves. Episode number 33. Are you trying too hard? Do you ever feel lost? Lost, like a discarded beer can floating down a river, as if your life is a journey to that one place where you ought to be, as if you're on the road to find out that one thing you ought to know. But there is no one to tell you where it is, and there is no map to show you. And you feel like there is no way to get there from here. So you feel lost, but you're not afraid. You feel alone, but you're not lonely. You feel abandoned, but not rejected. In life, in your life, you are told to believe in the perfectibility of all things. You believe in the perfectibility of human nature, society, the world, but above all, yourself. At the center of your complex web of beliefs, you hold these truths: that new is better than old, that forward is better than backward, that to change is better than to preserve, that to go is better than to stop, that optimism is better than pessimism, and that the future is better than the past. Life, your life, is a dead-end street. Perfection is your final destination. It's a destiny that has not been chosen by you, but for you. And it can be neither avoided nor escaped from. You have no power to decide whether or not to accept it, because it's a gift. Like the awakening of the Buddha. The Buddha said, if you don't want enlightenment, then it will take you just a little longer to wake up. You may not know the way to go there from here, but by waiting, just by waiting with effortless effort, every soldier makes it home. Simone Weil, one of my favorite French philosophers, who died of frailty and starvation at the age of 34. Simone Weil said, "We do not obtain the most precious gifts by going in search of them, but by waiting for them. We cannot discover them by our own powers, and if we set out to seek for them, we will find in their place counterfeits, of which we will be unable to discern the falsity. The neon sign outside the restaurant was not working. On the flashing sign, Mandarin, the first three letters, M, A, and N, were dark, leaving only D, A, R, I, and N. The boy looked up at the sign and was filled with hope and wonder. Like Keats, on first looking into Chapman's Homer, or Constantine, on first seeing a cross of light in the sun, the boy fell to his knees in gratitude, and he instantly resolved that his last name would be Darin, Bobby Darin. This story is not fiction. Lewis Carroll said, "Life, what is it but a dream? Everything you are and everything you become begins as a dream." Dreamers don't make dreams. They wait, and dreams come to life. Once, an old friend borrowed a book from me and never returned it. Only a fool would lose a friend because of a book. But I just couldn't let it go. I was like a man who cuts off his hand because he lost a glove. It feels worse to regret something you failed to do than to regret something you did. Why? Simply because action is superior to reflection. It makes you feel better to act than to reflect. It even feels better to act by mistake than not to act by mistake. Better to do something and regret it than not to do something and regret it. The world's greatest sinner is one who waits. In life, in your life, there are many obvious and many subtle choices of many different kinds. You choose to be a scientist and to answer questions. But in choosing this, you also choose not to be a philosopher and to question answers. You choose to follow the crowd. But in choosing this, you also choose not to think for yourself. You choose to have a child, but in choosing this, you also choose not to be a child. In every choice, there are two pictures: to do something and not to do something. In every mind, there are two pictures: the person you are and the person you desire to be. In every life, there are two pictures: the things you did that you regret, and the things that you regret you did not do. Just as a hammer finds a nail, you will find what you're looking for, but you never will find what you are not looking for. And what is the meaning of this? You are told, almost from the moment of birth, what you need to do and to be in order to be happy and to live a happy life. So with all your heart and all your strength, you pursue fame, wealth, prestige, popularity, social status, and power. But in the end, you find these desires unattainable or unfulfilling or insatiable, and in death, fleeting. You find that craving worldly desires, even if you get lucky and achieve them, does not lead to a happy life of peace and serenity. You find what you've been told to look for, but you won't find what you are not looking for. Look for a stone and you will find a stone. Look for bread and you will find bread. In life, there are many people who look for bread and find a stone, and eat the stone, believing it is bread. Things are as they are, or things are as you wish them to be. In your life, learn to see what is, and not what you desire to see. Be in the world, but not of the world. You want to taste sugar. You don't want to be sugar. A race car driver looked in his rear-view mirror. His competition was behind him, and he smiled because he was leading the race. But this was an illusion. In truth, the other drivers were so far ahead that they were about to catch up to him from behind, and he was so far behind in the race that he appeared to be ahead of them. The first will be last, and the last first. In your life, you will find what you need to be happy. Not what you think you need, what you really need, but only if you stop chasing illusions. Don't aspire, don't seek, don't expect, don't cling to anything. Detach yourself, disconnect. Not this, not that. Be effortless, be empty, be waiting, and let your dreams catch up to you. Non-action does not mean no action. Impossible? Everything is impossible until it happens. In physics, one strange feature of quantum mechanics that's difficult to accept is that life is made up of small but non-zero probabilities that we once thought of as impossible. In truth, there are very few situations for which the probability is exactly zero that can be called impossible. Everything else is to some extent likely. Your dreams are as likely to come true with or without your help. Surfers don't make waves. They simply wait, and the waves come to them. Simone Weil, finally, said, "Attachment is a manufacturer of illusions, and whoever wants reality ought to be detached. To detach our desire from all good things and to wait. Experience proves that this waiting is satisfied. It is then we touch the absolute good. Compared with it, everything in existence is unreal. The world will move toward you if only you stand still and wait. Wait with effortless effort. Are you trying too hard? Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Corey, the Laughing Philosopher. Thanks for listening to my podcast. I've devoted my professional life to the intersection of sociology and philosophy, where the contemporary problems of life meet the ideas and convictions of the greatest human minds. Join me by subscribing to the Laughing Philosopher as we use reason and wisdom to explore big answers to the most important of all big questions: how to live.